Hello YouTube, this is Prometea, you're watching Tyrannosaurus Girl, and today I will answer the question, what does cisgender mean? Now this is something that I already discussed in some of my previous videos, but I was asked this question again recently, so I thought it would be good to dedicate a video specifically to talk about this word. Cisgender is formed by the word gender and the Latin prefix cis. Similarly as how its opposite trans means across on the other side of, cis means on the same side of. It has been used for a very long time in many fields, like for example in chemistry. There is the cis and trans isometry. I'm not going to get into a chemistry lesson, I'm certainly not the person indicator for that either, but I'm sure you have heard talk about the trans fats. It refers to a certain part of a molecule when there is what is called a double bond that cannot rotate. If over here you have two things that are the same, if they are on opposite sides of the bond, then it is trans. But if they are on the same side, then they are called cis. So when it comes to gender, it simply refers to a person who identifies as the same gender that was assigned to them at birth. So it would be the opposite of trans. So you may be asking, why do we even need that word, that term? Well, in an ideal world, we wouldn't. Whether someone is trans or cis wouldn't really have any implication on their lives, but in today's society and in this reality, we have no option but to sometimes refer to certain things, so we need a word for them. And you may be saying, why don't we just say real or normal or non-trans? And those have a few problems with them. First of all, if you refer to a cisgender person as real, you are implying that a trans person is not real, and I'm not a cartoon or anything, I'm quite real. If you say something like non-trans, so we use a descriptive word only to refer to trans people. So what we are saying is that trans people are different, but different from what? It's establishing the point of reference, the point of view on a cis person. It's making it the default, it's making it the norm. And that, just like saying outright a normal woman or a normal man, it is implying that trans people are not normal, that they are some type of creature, that they are some type of deformity. That subconsciously really affects the way that we can treat other people, the way that we see them as other, as something abnormal. And when it's applied to you from our perspective, that's pretty demeaning, to be always perceived as an exception, to be always perceived as the different, the freak, to have to explain and clarify more often than we would want to. So by having another descriptor for cisgender people, what we do is that we simply categorize people in a way to describe objectively a situation in relationship to their genders at the time when referring to that is necessary and appropriate. And it's done without any judgment of value. It's simply a descriptor, similarly as we have short people and tall people, and we have old people and young people. Those words have no inherent judgment of value, they are simply describing a situation. Now some people say that cis or cisgender is a slur, and it's not. First of all, it was first used by a cisgender male, a sexologist, nevertheless a scientist. On one hand, I think it has to do with the fact that these people that are calling it a slur are cisgender people that experience quite a big level of privilege, and we're going to dedicate another video to go more deeply into the issue of privilege. And they have heard the word cisgender in instances where privilege has been discussed, and they have gotten defensive because of that. So they take it as it is an insult, and because of what I explained earlier, they don't want to be anything but the norm. These are people that wish to maintain the patriarchy, that are opposed to the advancements of rights of people of color, of women, of trans people, of gay people, anyone who is outside of their norm. And because this language is aimed at eliminating this idea of a norm, they are opposed to it. So they take it personally because it challenges them directly. But regardless of how heated the conversation about privilege and gender may be, and even if it comes together with insults, that doesn't mean that cisgender is a slur. I've heard from the mouth of these people many times they use, ironically of course, of the expression cis-scum. I don't know if they were ever called that, but if they were, scum is a pejorative term. Scum is an insult, not cis. Cis is simply a descriptor. Picture this. Some Donald Trump supporters may refer to Mexicans as fucking Mexicans. That doesn't magically turn Mexican into a slur. The problematic part is fucking, not Mexican. Mexican people will continue to call themselves Mexican because they are from Mexico. It's an objective descriptor. It's exactly the same with cis. I can call you a lot of things if I'm angry and disturbed and upset, but that will not turn cis into a slur. I mean, we could come up with a slur that refers to cis people, but cis is not it. I mean, in fact, I'm going to come up with one right now. I'm going to call them. But what effect would it have? And yes, I'm leaving it out because I'm afraid that someone will have the wonderful idea of starting to use that word as a slur, and I get blamed for it. I can walk up to a cisgender person and call them you, and they're going to be like, what? Yeah, you've heard me. Okay, I think someone is calling me over there. It would have no effect because there would be no negative experiences, no oppression, no discrimination associated with that word. In the same way as you can call a white person a cracker, and it will mean absolutely nothing to them. I mean, if you rub salt on your skin, it's not going to hurt unless you have a wound. So no, it's not a slur, it's simply a term used to objectively describe a circumstance in the life of people who identify with the same gender they were assigned at birth without alienating transgender people. So I hope that that answers the question and that it clarifies a bit every time I use the word. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much. If you're not subscribed yet, please consider doing it now. And be sure to leave me your comments and your questions either here in the video or through ask.fm, Facebook, Twitter or Tumblr. See you next week. Bye bye!